How to build a strong profile for your next job or your first job. If you don't have a lot of commercial experiences, one good way to do it is to contribute to open source projects. In this video, I'm sharing my experience in contributing to open source projects and some tips and tricks on how to make your first contribution. Hi, my name is Adler, and today I'm sharing the basics and some tips and tricks in contributing to open source projects. I wouldn't say that I'm an expert, but I did contribute to some of others' projects, and I would say these contributions do help me build a better developer profile when creating a resume. For those who have no idea what open source software is, it is literally software that has their source code publicly accessible. Everyone is able to read the code, participate in the discussions, and contribute their own code to the project. Some famous open source projects include programming languages like Ruby and Golang, database systems like Redis, and virtualization tools like Docker. They are basically everywhere in all free and commercial software projects. The next question is, should we start our own project or should we contribute to existing projects? These are two very different directions. In terms of building a developer profile, it would be fantastic if we can build something to resolve a real-world issue. It can demonstrate that the creator is a person who puts thoughts into actions and is able to complete it. On the other hand, contributing to existing projects demonstrate that we are able to do teamwork, understand code written by other developers, and communicate with other team members. Qualities from both sides are equally important. If you have your own idea, that's good. You can start creating your own open source project. If you have no idea what to build yet, that's fine. Let's take a look at how to contribute to other projects. When we talk about making contributions, there are actually many approaches. First, we can write some code to add new functionalities, debug, or refactor the existing code. Or we can help answer questions in issues, do code review for pull requests, or become a sponsor. There are many other ways as well, but in this video we are focusing more on writing code or documents for a project. Next, which project should we contribute to? If you just get started in software development, you probably don't know how many projects are there and even how many fields are there. Luckily, there are some tools to help us find the right projects to contribute to. Since most projects are on GitHub, it's convenient to just use the GitHub Explorer. We'll be able to browse by projects or by topics that we like. However, the projects listed there might not be that beginner friendly due to their complexity. An alternative is to use Google. Search X programming language open source projects for beginners. Usually there will be a couple of blog posts introducing some interesting projects that we might not have even heard of. I would like to also recommend Awesome for Beginners. It is a list on GitHub showing some repositories that are beginner friendly. Or we can find similar results by searching for open issues with a first timers only tag on GitHub. These issues are more descriptive, and these repositories usually include more guidance for new contributors. The most important factor in choosing a project is that it sounds cool. Okay, don't judge. What I mean is that it has to sound cool to you personally. Contributing to open source projects can be very frustrating sometimes. The best thing that would support us on this journey is our love for this project. If we don't like a project, it's very likely that we would just leave it there if it's not going well. After we pick one or two projects that we like, we would then inspect the three indicators: complexity, activity, and friendliness. For complexity, a good indicator is the number of commits. The more commits there are, the more complicated the project is. However, don't be scared away by a high number of commits. Every big project is built on small pieces. As long as you can find something small to start from, it should be okay to choose a big project. Another indicator is activity. We'll be able to tell how active a project is from the frequency of the commits and how many interactions there are in the pull request and the issues. This information can be seen from insights of a repository. A good frequency would be having interactions at least once in a few days, including responding to the issues, merging pull requests, and closing issues. We want to avoid spending a lot of time writing code and sending a pull request and then no one even takes a look at it. The last indicator is friendliness. We don't want to spend time committing the code, but getting a negative or discouraging response. Click on the closed issues and pull requests in a repository and see how the conversations went for other developers. Are the maintainers responding to contributors properly, or are they ignoring the issues? Read the comments and interactions between the maintainers and the contributors. Imagine that if we are having the same conversations, are we comfortable with it? If we feel that everything is good so far, it's time to move on to the next step. We'll need to read and understand the code. We can either start from the entry point of the program, or we can search for specific parts that we are interested in. If the project is beginner friendly, find the beginner issue and start from the part where the issue is trying to resolve. Also, here's a tip. From my experience, as we read the code, we might spot some other issues as well. From there, we are able to make additional contributions by creating separate pull requests for those issues. First, some documentations are not as good as others. It might include typos and miss some of the logic it is documenting. It would be a good time to slip in and improve it. Second, some scenarios in the codebase are not covered by unit tests. If we find that, don't hesitate to add more test cases to the code. It is a quick win and it actually improves the quality of the project. If you're not familiar what a unit test is, I'll put a link in the description below for more details. Okay, that's it for now. One final suggestion. It would really take some time before we can submit our first pull request. We'll need to read a lot of code and figure out their connections. Be patient and don't get too frustrated. If you find this video helpful, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Leave a comment below if you have any questions. I will see you next time.